Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Minutescape. It is a incremental dodge 'em up. Let's see if I can actually get in here, delete my save, and let's try again. Delete save, click again to delete save. Should be started perfect. Alright. So the entire premise of this game is that you are a square and you need to dodge the red circles. It's an extremely basic concept. Very much reminds me of like old school Flash games from like, geez, how long ago was it at this point? I mean, for me it was like back in the well, back in middle school 20 years ago. 20 years ago, not even 20 years ago. It's been longer than that since I was in middle school. That's a problem. But the entire premise is this is, yeah, you die and lose a lot. Unfortunately, I'm going to need more stuff before I can actually unlock those entries, because I think we unlock them progressively based on how much we've earned. Oof. Not the greatest. That's fine. But we get currency based on how many things have spawned, not how many things we dodge. So even if we get hit, as soon as it's on the screen, we get a smidge of currency. And we can just keep stacking that until we can get a little bit more move speed. I'm assuming eventually we get the ability to shrink our square and increase the play area, which makes it easier to dodge. Which, I mean, if we want to talk middle school, this is effectively just dodgeball, where you're the last kid and everybody else is gunning for you, which is, you know, actually kind of trauma. I was pretty good at that. I don't know why I was reasonably good at dodgeball. I was very good at catching. And so, like, I mean, I'm sure everybody has kind of one of these stories playing handball, flag football, dodgeball in my case, of... I probably should have actually maxed out movement speed just to get it done. But of, like, the heroic finish where it's, you know, you versus 5-10 kids and you just catch, like, every single ball, getting every other kid out while playing dodgeball or something like that. Yeah, expand the box. Slowly regen health. Lab? But I'm noticing some of these have question marks, so even though I technically have... Oh, because there's one question mark resource, so we haven't found that one yet. So you earn circles every time a circle spawns. Spawn rates increase exponentially. Survive longer to earn faster. Let's stop wasting time. Alright? And so, like, I definitely have a couple of those stories where I was like the last kid and I just caught every ball instead and every other kid got out and oops, I guess I win. But, do we actually want to expand the box instead? No, more health is probably better. Maybe, actually. I don't know. 10%, or not even 10%. 5% more box is still a lot of room to dodge, considering some of these I, like, hide in the corner, and it's still not enough for me to avoid. Okay, still can't get that. So let's expand the box twice. Oh, attract question mark. Yeah, so that'll get us the next currency. And we'll see how it goes. I was gonna say, I do really appreciate these weirdo games that have been coming out, once again, going back to Flash games and stuff. I think so much of this boils down to, they're all inspired by games like Nodebuster and To the Core and Norp Apolog and whatnot. But with the kind of... let's see. Oh, we can almost get it. I had enough currency, but I hadn't unlocked it yet. Nodebuster, To the Core, Norp Apolog, and whatnot. But rather than just doing the exact same thing as them, all of them, from my experience, use the core, like, framework of incremental upgrades. But it's almost always a different game. So, we were playing one about, like, mining asteroids incrementally a couple days ago. Or, I guess the raid management one wasn't as much of a... like an actual gameplay thing. Okay, and I have no idea what this question mark is. It's probably just a different color. But we might have to wait now before that shows up. But so yeah, rather than fully just stealing the full core frame, full like core gameplay of the game, they just take the idea of it and carry it into something new. And I don't know, I think I like that. Try improve magnet range, but we still don't know what we're attracting. I guess I'll just improve my health for the time being. Maybe it's something that shows up based on time? Ugh. Might have to wait for a little while then. And I often think about this, like, what old school Flash games and ideas have kind of gone by the wayside, disappeared entirely, only to be resurrected by an incremental game or a roguelike, for example. So Nova Drift, for like an easy example, is Asteroids, like classic Asteroids, but improved massively as as like legitimately one of the best roguelikes I have ever played, both on an aesthetic level, but then also on a gameplay and build crafting level. It's legitimately like a genius made game and has so much to love and appreciate out of it. Okay, there are the squares, but they show up super late. Ouch. I'm gonna need a magnet to pick that one up. Or we just expand the box, but I think I'm gonna go for the magnet all the same. At least we know what we're looking for. It's just a matter of getting it to show up in a reasonable manner and also picking it up. Maybe I also just need to make the box that much bigger. Because that could be it. That it's not reachable. Oh, what if my cursor can pick it up? Well, we're not getting it on this run. Yeah, can't get more income. Could go for health. I guess we'll do it. Invulnerability on hit. Let's grab the timer, because that might actually give us a vague idea of when the pluses start appearing. Oof. Work our way through. Yeah, there's certain spots where I can't really get a good flow no matter what. There's something else that's going to hit me instead. So it's mostly just a matter of like, can I last that couple seconds longer? And the answer is not really. I can't even get that. Let's just put another point in this. Unfortunately, yeah, it's going to take a while before I get the really good stuff. And then eventually we're going to get to the point where I can go long enough to get everything. I do wonder if the game is actively shooting at me. The trajectories aren't fully random. That they're kind of designed to force me out of where I was. And so maybe moving only a certain distance. Ooh. Only moving a certain distance might allow for easier dodges. I don't think it's actually the way. Let's just go for bigger box. I'm curious about a very big box. One thing to always question with these is how do they handle their progression systems? I've played a lot of incremental games over the last couple of years, and the one thing I do find that they get stuck in is allowing you to get access to everything on the same run in a very linear fashion, that even though it looks like it's this massive potential talent tree to play around with, but it's the 30-second mark. That's when they start showing up. Yeah, less invulnerability cooldown, even more speed, multiply income, but a lot of these, yeah, we gotta wait for. But even though it's this like large series of things that I could invest into, almost universally due to limited currency amounts, you just end up buying everything in a very like specific order. Like, how many times can I play this game before I start just retracing the exact same progression curve that I had the previous time? It's why stuff like talent trees and whatnot, and say, oh, okay, so it was starting to come, but we didn't actually grab it. So I think I'm gonna wait. Let's get the bigger magnet, because yeah, it seemed like the 30-second mark was when it really starts flying into me, or flying in before they start spawning, and then it has kind of a time delay before it actually will start moving towards me specifically. Oof. Looked away for a second to look at the timer, and I should not have done that. I do appreciate that the music picks up pace as we go along. Got it. That's all I needed. Because now we've got more income, which is going to be massive. Let's go for some magnet range. I will say there's the satisfaction of even getting that new currency once. And that feeling of like, oh, I got it. That does feel good. I do also appreciate, kind of on a weird way, of how helpless I am in this one. That, yeah, all I can do is move and hide. I'm trying to remember what games were like. Oh! Oddly enough, it kind of feels like I'm playing Marco Polo. Oof. 119. Oh boy, that extra income is extremely good. Let's max these two out. I want to go for improved magnet, but anything that gives me just that little bit more survivability is probably going to be huge. But yeah, the jamming yourself in a corner is like another person moves slowly by you. I was very good at Marco Polo. I was kind of good at hearing, like, maybe this is cheatsy, but I'd be underwater and I could hear people's, like, joints crack. Hello? Okay, they weren't coming to me and I don't know why. I'm literally one off. Okay, can I... Please, just finish me. I do not want to be in this universe anymore. But yeah, I'd be underwater and I'd hear somebody's, like, knee just, like, pop a little bit. I'd instantly know where they are. Unlock the lab. Oh, but we need way more currency before I can get to that one. Really what we need to do is get, like, 2 more green. And then we can get access to... we can just keep cranking up our red income a bunch. Hopefully. Unfortunately, the whole hearing people's joints thing made it easier for me to find people. And so they'd often be kind of pissed because I was only it for, like... half the time. I was like, look, I'm just listening. We got one. Oh, they're just showing up on me. It seems like some of them show up much closer than others. Okay, we're at 143. We also have slow health regen. Looks like it takes 20 seconds, though. We can also multiply our income and some other things. I'll just go for the health regen at the moment. Especially if we can get that to be much faster. Yeah, I can't tell if the box is progressively filling in, or if it's one of those where it's just going to... Well, actually, we're just going to get smacked. I thought I had invulnerability frames here. Oof. Oof. Okay, there's 1. That's too far away. 2. 3. 4. 5. Alright. Way better than nothing. Is this worth it? I think so. Let's go for the slow health regen. Improving magnet might not be a bad idea too, but I think so much of it is just getting to the point where I can survive past that 30-second mark. Once we do that, everything opens up tremendously. And then we probably hit a new plateau, get stuck for a while, and so on and so forth. I know how these games work. I might also want to invest some more into iframes, because yeah, it's not uncommon for me to get hit by a 1-2 punch. And that always kind of stinks. Ah, didn't get it. At least my income is very good. Let's grab those in a little bit more speed. Probably should have gone for the magnet range. I'm going to keep saying that. It was just the iframes were cheap. And the closer I am to getting to the point where the square follows my cursor perfectly, as opposed to having that slight drag, is going to make things a lot easier. Because then I can actually have, like, snap reactions of, like, oops, you know, I'm going to get hit if I stay here. Okay. Close enough. Let's see, 420. Let's do magnet range and magnet speed. I got 10. Or, not 10. I could do invulnerability cooldown. I guess I'll do that. And what else do we do? I can multiply my red income by 2. Yeah, I think let's do that. It's going to get progressively more expensive, but having twice as much is going to be huge. I think I can multiply it further, too, in a moment. Ow. Okay. I was really expecting to feel the regen more, but I almost wonder if it's actually a bit of a noob trap. Ow, 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 ow. Did my cube get bigger? Wait, am I getting bigger over time? I probably am. Okay, so we can go for a very big box. I could do that. I think I'm going to go for magnet range and speed for the moment. So we can also reduce the growth. Oh, so I am getting big over time. It's the green is making me bigger. Huh. That makes sense. I was like, wait a second. Why am I become huge? So to some degree, this does mean that I'm probably going to just shotgun myself in the face, get a bunch of green pluses, get huge and die, which is very funny. I actually do appreciate that picking up the green pluses scales your size. That's kind of like how the red currents or the red circles are constantly spawning more and more over time. Let's grab the lab. Don't know what that gets me necessarily. So we also have a time machine. Fair enough. Let's go for a big box. So what's the lab do? Thousands to probably shrink. But I might need to earn more, or I need to invest more. We'll have to see. But yeah, like the red shots progressively start appearing faster and faster and faster. Having the green ones make me larger. They both exist to slow me down to make this harder, which I actually kind of appreciate. It's not uncommon for games in this genre to have like a time limit. Like, oh, you only have so much fuel. Oh, that didn't work. You only have so much fuel and you can extend it, but like that gets boring. This feels much better because rather than having like an arbitrary time limit, it's more about like, hey, how long can you survive? And so that makes staying longer both more rewarding and also more engaging. And that's something that I feel like a lot of these incremental games kind of miss. I think it worked fine in Nodebuster to some degree because it was very much the trend setter for a lot of these design conventions. Well, that was fast. I was really hoping the invulnerability time would kick in for longer, but alas. Okay, we can also get armor, but it's expensive, so no dice. Let's see, do we want to reduce? No, let's just go for some more income. Yeah, the more speed, yeah, it's having an effect. But part of the reason why I love playing these games, even if they don't look like much, you know, they're kind of short little coffee break games. Maybe they're good for an evening or two and not much more, is it feels like they're all kind of trying to solve a common problem and iterating on the same general ideas over and over and over again with progressively better results. Not for all of them. There's definitely some stinkers that I've played over the last couple of years in terms of like incremental game design and ideas and whatnot. If I can get two more, I am huge, but I got a lot. Okay, so what do we want to grab? Let's take a look at this. Yeah, so I have to actually research that one manually. I'm going to develop armor. I don't actually know how much that matters. And then I think we wait. I don't think we really want the reduced growth effect, even though it would technically let me last a little bit longer. I don't think it's worth the investment yet. I think we want to max out my red income before we do that. I wonder if research actually lets me permanently shrink. Oh, I bet that's the case. And so for the survival versus just lasting for X number of seconds, you know, how do you get one of these incremental games to feature, oof, they were gunning for me. Let's just triple my income, go back here, we have 1,000. Shrink, fit through narrow gaps and get the most out of the box by shrinking yourself. Once clicked, abilities can be assigned a left mouse button by clicking them. Hold the button. Interesting. Oh, okay. That's fun. So now I can shrink down when I need to. So if it looks like I'm not going to be able to thread the needle. Oh, I like that. You know, actually helps if I implement it well. But yeah, since I don't need to use it for an extended period of time, I actually am going to be able to use it reasonably well here. Kind of. Let's just max it out. We're, like, I'm toast, but it doesn't matter. Okay, that is a lot. Let's go for magnet speed. Do we go for armor? Kind of. I think I'm going to go big box and move speed, and a little bit of invulnerability cooldown. So more health, fewer easy bullets. Wait. Fewer easy bullets as new appear. What the heck does that mean? I have no idea. Let's start working on that growth effect, because it will unlock some new things. There's also a time machine. What the heck does that do? Hopefully there's ways that I can kind of specialize into shrink more. That is the one thing that I always get hung up on, is that a lot of these solve interesting problems, like, for example, making this more about survival than giving you an artificial time limit that you might be able to extend. But one thing that I find a lot of these games really do miss is the idea of letting you invest further into something. That almost universally most incremental games, everything is very surface level. So, like, I have this really cool shrink thing, and I guess this lets me increase max charge. So, like, there's some options here. Okay, oh, here we go. Some upgrades are locked. Unlock them by adjacent upgrades. Right-click and drag, use the arrow keys to scroll through upgrades. Okay, hope you knew that already. Start showing up at a few seconds. They'll be helpful, and that requires resources that I do not have. Alright. Keep reducing that growth effect. We should probably work on my red income. Ooh. I've been forgetting about a regen, because I did not invest into that. Yeah, so I'm assuming, or maybe I'm not. I don't know how much I can invest into the maximum charge. But yeah, I'd love for this ability to have, like, much more charge, and then also shrink me even further. Okay, can't get it, can get these. And to some degree, like, I'm hosed, I don't have enough. After a certain point, I also just give up on dodging. It's much more just about, like, maximizing income before I'm down. But that's okay, too. Let's see. I should probably save up for some more income, because getting that up high is probably a good thing. Less invulnerability cooldown, bigger box. Pretty soon I'm not going to need red for anything. Which does make me question whether or not I need more red income. But maybe it's fine. And yeah, I should definitely save as much of my shrink charge. Dang. Save as much of my shrink charge as possible for when I actually need it. Because taking a couple of those early hits isn't terrible. The regen really does actually take care of it. Now that I've properly invested into it. Yeah, the problem is, yeah, truly after a certain point I just give up on dodging because how can you even dodge those? Let's see. Okay, fewer easy bullets. Oh. So maybe things start slowing down there. Let's max that out for now. So that might mean that, like, the further we go in, we actually get less and less red. Like, it slows down the exponential growth in favor of new types of bullets. But especially this early on, my regen is enough to keep me above. I just wish I could, like, invest more into regen or more into the shrinky ability. And we're going to get that opportunity, but I can max all of them out kind of equally, but never specialize in any of them. It's kind of this, like, weird jack-of-all-trades effect. There we go. Well, 48 seconds. Got 20. That's not bad. Can't get that, though. What do we need on this one? Oh, we need more of whatever that... Whoops. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. But I guess also going tall would be hard. You know, if you had really fast regen, after a certain point you could actually just... After a certain point you could just ignore every hit sent your way, and then... What's even the point of half the other upgrades? I don't know. I guess it's kind of the allure of it, though, is like finding ways that you can build... Create a build that eventually just tells the game... Or breaks the game over your knee in such a way that it's not a challenge anymore. Yeah, do we want to... I mean, I guess the other thing I could do is invest really hard into that. So I can increase my max charge. It does let me shrink even smaller. Do I want to do that, though? I think I want to maximize my red income, which is going to require a lot of these. Okay. The problem is the first couple seconds are meditative. Maybe part of it is because there's not much that's actually going on in the dodge 'em up section. The game had been described to me as a roguelite. This is not. This is very much a incremental game. You could technically claim it as a roguelite, as you have meta progression, and the entire point of this still not good enough. Huh. Let's go for even more health, just to see what we can unlock in the area. So, yeah. Ooh, reduce max bullet speed. That actually could be huge. I think we wait, though. We need just a little bit more. But for me, the difference between, like, this, which is a full-blown incremental game, versus a roguelite, mostly boils down to roguelites have to have mid-run progression of some kind. Usually. Even Rogue Legacy, as little progression it gave you in the middle of it, you were getting these blessings that would change certain things. Like, I remember being able to fly, or having my health, but increasing my damage by double. Stuff like that kind of goes a long way. It doesn't seem like my magnet expands over time. It also seems like, maybe I'm imagining this, but it feels like a lot of the, almost respectable. It seems like a lot of the orbs go faster when I'm in shrinky mode. More all income. Ooh, that's good. Let's go for some charge. Increase max charge, but that's based on red. Should be fine. Even more health. Very big box. Develop armor. Let's max those out. Even though it's not actually a very big box, this is not going to be a very big box until we've maxed, well, until it covers a considerable portion of the screen, but that's fine. I will say, this is also probably one of the incremental games with, probably a higher skill cap than most. Not that there's, like, too much skill, it's mostly just dodging, but there is skill in predicting trajectories and following, like, a bunch of trajectories simultaneously, because the better you can predict those for, like, in such a short period of time with everything else going on, you know, determines how much income you're going to be able to get. You can still float through this game largely by just investing points. Oh, interesting. Do things have better magnetism when I'm in shrinky mode? I think there's some hidden effects on shrink. Probably. Okay, I'm at 22. That's not much. So I could do huge box, reduce growth effect. Even smaller. Use less charge. Fortunately, things are getting kind of expensive. I could save up for the multiply income, but I think that's too expensive. We also have yet to find that new resource type that I'm looking for. Unless it's already in the game, I just need to survive for a minute. Could be the case. But so it's one of those where somebody who's really good at predicting a bunch of trajectories simultaneously probably could actually just float through a considerable amount of this game much faster than somebody who's just face-tanking hits constantly. Which, not to say that, you know, other games in this genre take no skill, but it has certainly felt like a lot of them are much simpler, just purely get big stat stick, win. Yeah, I didn't get as much as I wanted out of that one. Do we go more health? Kind of. So there's another income multiplication. But that's for green this time, but it requires a resource I do not have access to. Yeah, I'm gonna be just saving non-stop red here. It definitely is pretty stingy with the rewards. And I will give some credit where credit is due. It does feel like it's hard to progress down this tree. So I do have to make some hard choices, but there's such a, like, clear feeling of overcoming certain thresholds that you're still going to get kind of hung up here. Because yeah, until we get access to whatever that mystery currency is. Yeah, until we figure out whatever that mystery currency is, we're kind of stuck. Jeez. I'm probably going to keep working on that reduced growth effect, because if that doesn't actually make me that much larger, I might be able to survive longer. I think the same thing with slowing down the red, though mostly I think we want to aim for reducing their maximum speed. Because after a certain point, they get so fast that, like, dodging them is virtually impossible. But they also get so numerous that dodging them feels barely possible. Okay, yeah, they're definitely still raising my size. but it's not as bad as it was. 56. Yeah, we're not there. Oh, unfortunately, the reduced max bullet speed requires 250 of a resource I do not have. Let's keep going with that. Oh, because we can actually just get rid of the growth effect and make it so these heal me. Ooh, okay. Yeah, because I can't research any of those. It's definitely a stingy incremental game. Being able to upgrade like 2 things per cycle is weirdly rough. Not bad, just compared to a lot of other incremental games that are extremely generous constantly, this is a solid counterpoint. Makes it satisfying, I guess. I don't know. It's the design philosophy between frequent and many but possibly smaller upgrades versus few but impactful ones. Though I think in this case there is some level of diminishing returns. Oh. Yeah, getting it so that the green heals me is going to be actually huge. Because we're picking up a lot of these by this point. Alright, there it is. So we got 2 purple, not as terrible. And like I was estimating, they show up at the 1 minute mark. Oh, that requires 50. Alright. That's gonna take some doing. Okay, anything else for me to grab? No. Yeah. I was wondering why I wasn't getting access to that 3rd currency, and it's like, you know what? No, it's got to be one of those that isn't on the talent tree, like green was. It's got to be one of those where you just have to survive X amount of time. And I was correct. I do think the purples might be one of those that they home in on you. So healing and defensive measures actually probably become that much more valuable as we put time and energy into this. I'll probably look into trying getting green multipliers and then also all income upgrades if possible. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the 1 minute mark. We are getting clonked. I do wonder if there's some level of strategy towards going in a circle after a certain point. Well, we got up to 7, so that's good. More income, but that's super expensive. This is much cheaper and doable. So, huge box, tempting. Let's start going for even smaller, though, because if I can have it use less charge... I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get it where I can stay perpetually small, but hopefully I can stay small for longer. Also wonder if it recharges faster. So if I can increase my maximum charge, but the charge rate is always a hard percentage, or if it's a flat number. Because say if you regenerate 1% of your energy per second, it doesn't really matter if you increase your maximum energy up to, say, 110, because now you're just regenerating 1.1 per second. Whereas if you increase your, whereas if it's a flat amount, say 1 energy per second, and you increase your maximum energy to 110, you have a higher cap, but it takes that much longer to reach maximum. Obviously, it's still balanced in that fashion of, yeah, they are aiming at me. And it is balanced in a way that, you know, you're supposed to, let's double that because that's going to be a huge change. It's still going to be better because, you know, say if you manage to go up to maximum, you can use it for that much longer. But it does mean that if you want to generate more faster, you're going to have extra upgrades to make that work. you know, to get up to that 1.1 that you would have gotten from the percentile-based recovery instead. It mostly doesn't matter. I really just kind of want to know the answer from a, like, build crafting perspective, and I'm sure... Well, I don't know if we're actually going to find that one out. Yeah, so I can eat a couple of these hits comfortably. And yeah, it seems like my enemies are very much aiming directly for me, so I can kind of go in this weird circuit and reach a minute. Once the purples start showing up, the gloves are off. Mostly because the reds are so fast that, good luck, me. Luckily, the purples can't really handle me being shrinky-dink. Closer, but not close. Hey, we still got up a lot farther. Oh boy. I actually have a hell of a lot of red. I should be spending this stuff. I should max it out. Okay, so I can also increase my health regen up to 0.25, which isn't terrible. There's Blazing Fast, and then there's also getting up to... Well, I guess I could go for these here. What else do we have? 64. Use less charge. Even more health? Sure. That'll do for now. And we shrink down very far. I want to say that's percentile based, but I'd have to actually, like, measure it to know. Okay. So far, so good. I wonder if there's a way that... Or I wonder if there's an upgrade that eventually skips the first, like, 15 seconds. Because, yeah, we're losing a lot of time to the game, kind of in the early stages. Where we're just waiting for, where only red is being flung at me. Ow. Ooh. Purple sting. But that's okay. Alright, more green income. We can also multiply our green income, but that's going to take a little while. You know how much I can invest into. Learn to turn pages, so that's probably more in here. So triangle act similarly to red, except for they'll actively try and hit you. Shrinking can be very useful against them. Please get me out of here. Then eventually we're going to get more pages on the manual. Still don't have the resource for the time machine, interestingly enough. Huge box, and then we get to break the box. So that might actually just open the whole dang game up. Okay. Oh, I bet it's the time machine. I bet the time machine lets me mess with the time scale, either skipping ahead or something like that. Okay. Just scoot. Yeah, sometimes I can get in that kind of perfect circle where it can barely hit me. I really should use shrink much more often. I just kind of forget in the heat of the moment. And then I'm just starting to get pelted by dodgeballs, no matter where I go. What is it with this round? Oh, I still got a couple out of that one. Just not as much as I would have liked. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more regen. Bigger box. Oh, can't actually get the extra health. Yeah, that one was considerably more punishing than most. I don't know if I was just whiffing it. I mean, I am tired. Just got back from a vacation, and I hate to say it, but most of my vacations tend to be not very relaxing. It's like, go visit family. And, you know, I don't mind visiting family, but it's not the most relaxing thing ever. It's not like I'm a weirdo video gamer introvert who'd rather just spend, you know, 7 days hanging out playing games in my backlog or reading or going out on walks and biking. Going out and like touring cities and stuff is exhausting. Fun and enriching for sure. But there's still that feeling afterwards of like, I am so tired. You know, was this really a vacation? Or is this kind of, well, I don't know what I compare it to exactly. Ouch. And was this actually a vacation or an obligation? Maybe. I don't know if obligation is the right word. That feels ungrateful. Even more armor, even more health. There are a lot of options here. It's just everything is expensive. Why is this staticky? I should probably invest in that. Oh. Okay, I gotta check something. We just need more income. But as part of it, we were staying in Wisconsin for a bit and decided, like, sure, we could spend a couple days driving home, or we could just do it all in one day. And it was like, well, either we're gonna have 2 awkwardly short days driving or 1 very long day. So we just elected to go for the very long day driving instead, which I don't necessarily regret from a like practical level, because I'm home and can sleep in my own bed and get back to work a little bit or do other things. On the other side, on the flip side, I think we were in the car for like 14 hours yesterday. Minus maybe like an hour and a half for stopping at rest stops and bathrooms and stuff. But it was a excessively long day by the end of it. And tired and cranky. So it's one of those where like, on a baseline level, I'm still in vacation mode and kind of zenned out. Okay, can I buy this? No, it's static, and I don't know why. Why are these static? Nothing says here. Yeah. Okay, let's learn to turn pages. Oh. Okay. So we can't afford those. I do have 230. Well, we should get multiply income, max that out. Use less charge. So that's increased charge regen. Increased... Oh! Okay. So the reason why those are staticky is because we need to unlock the time machine first. And also, looking at this, it means that the charge is not a percentile. It is a flat amount. So we were just regenerating 5 shrink charge per second, presumably, out of 140. I guess I might as well max that out. And so in this case, I'd much rather have, I mean, in most cases, I'd rather have high regen and low capacity than high capacity and low regen. That's why usually when I play like a video game, like a first-person shooter, I tend to go for the guns with the short reload times rather than guns with high capacity. I don't know if it's a personality quirk, if it's actually practical. I just prefer as little downtime as possible between using my abilities or firing my gun or whatever it is in the context of what I'm talking about or playing. Because I do downtime plenty in real life. I don't do downtime plenty in real life, and maybe that's part of it, but like, I like my interruptions to be as not interrupting as possible, because that makes my life so much easier. Yeah, so I think no matter what, no, I'm actually fast enough that I can dodge some of the purples. I will be here forever. Ah, we're getting close to that 1 minute mark. Okay. So I'm at 25. I think in a minute and a half is when we get access to the next resource type. Guess I'm going to keep going for blazing fast. Can't afford that yet. Really, it's probably the charge regen. Even slower time. Oh, so the time machine is actually an activated ability that lets me slow down time for a little while. I don't actually know how much I care for that. Let's see, do we want to get something else? Less invulnerability cooldown, better health regen. Hate to do it, but I think I'm gonna go for that regen. Yeah, I was hoping the time machine would just let me skip parts of the clock, but I guess we're just in here for the whole duration, which, I mean, I guess makes sense. The entire point of this is about surviving for 5 minutes, which you'd think, oh, 5 minutes isn't that bad, but with the way this game scales, 5 minutes is tough. But that makes it compelling in a way. Prior to starting this video, I had a conversation with Shell where she was not very impressed with this game because it looks like a basic, flashy, arcade-style game from 20-25 years ago. I kind of understand where that mentality comes from. You know, games have come so far since. Why would you ever go back to playing one of these games? But I appreciate the, oddly enough, the low-stakes nature of this game. And kind of as part of the discussion back and forth on the merits of a game like this. One of the conclusions I came to is part of the reason why I like these games is because I don't feel the need to come back. Now, that's going to sound kind of weird. That wasn't terrible. That was honestly worse than the last couple. But I play a lot of games constantly that I actually want to put more time into. What's a good example of this? Blueprints. I adore Blueprints. I think it is one of the best games that I've played ever. Maybe? I don't know. I'll have to put some more time into it to like really form that opinion. But I think it's one of the best games that I've played this year. That's an easy claim to make, and I don't think anything is going to change my mind on that one. I don't think it's for everybody, but from like a storytelling perspective and like puzzly exploration, secret clues and all that jazz, like it really pulls me in a way that most games don't. The problem is, there's only one Blueprints that came out this year, and, you know, it didn't do well enough on the channel for me to say, like, yes, I want to do a full series on this game. Maybe I will sit down and stream it anyway, you know, just play it for funsies, after I've beaten it, so it's kind of like a weird New Game Plus round, where I already know most of the answers and, like, how to get there, or how to get most of the answers, I just don't have them on hand, because that would make it kind of easy. I don't know if easy is the right word. Use less charge, increase regen. Probably just keep increasing regen. Did not get that much red from that one. But that way I don't have to worry about backseating, because then I can have like a really fast playthrough that, you know, is kind of streamlined by having foreknowledge of how the game works. Without having to worry about people being like, actually, you need to flip all these switches in this very specific order to do this thing to open up the cave outside. And I'm trying to be vague in case I spoil something. But, you know, I had that happen with Undertale. I went back for a genocide playthrough because I ended up doing True Pacifist my first time through. Kind of just because I felt bad. It was one of the few games that made you feel guilty for killing monsters, so I was like, alright, I'm just not going to, very obstinately. And that worked pretty well up until, like, the very end, at which point I was crying. Because, I think you have to actually fight Asgore, and that was extremely sad. Even though I don't think Asgore dies. I don't know, it's been a while. Undertale spoilers are probably legal at this point. But let's see. I mean, we still got a decent amount of currency off of that one, so I don't mind. Let's see. Still can't pick that up. Could go for more invulnerability cooldown. Let's go for Blazing Fast. And health regen, because those are actually extremely good. But with my genocide playthrough, it would have been a couple of weeks since the game had come out. Because I did my original playthrough all in, like, one night, or at least a considerable portion of it, so it was very easy for me to just, you know, cut the VOD up and put those videos out. It didn't mean that my Undertale playthrough has me a little bit zonked because I did it as part of an Extra Life stream. My first and only. I was shot by the end of it and said, this is not worth my time. I'm not a full-time streamer. Destroying myself for one stream is not worth it. But what was I going to say? But so going back for the Genocide playthrough, I had a lot more viewers, but a lot of them had opinions about how I was supposed to be doing things. It was frustrating because, you know, I also had opinions on how I should be doing things, and they were not lined up entirely with how other people wanted me to be doing things. And so that kind of presents this frustrating situation of, you know, me just walking along, doing a thing, fighting a boss, and having somebody else, you know, pop in and be like, well, actually, you're supposed to be doing this, or so-and-so is actually this way, you know, plot spoilers, or character details, or stuff like that. Okay, got a little bit further. Not much. A little bit of armor, probably. So use less charge, even more health. Blazing fast. Okay, not much for me to invest into at this point. But, ooh, yeah, that is much zippier. Eventually, I can probably smoothly glide through, like, purple shots. I also wonder if the regen is active while I am shrunk. Because I wonder if it's one of those where I can eventually get them to be equal so I can stay in shrinking mode. Probably not. I can't imagine this game is that generous. I just wish there was like a bonus currency every once in a while you get like one of. Every time you hit a 30-second threshold, you'd only, you know, get 10 of them over the course of the entire run. So you can limit break and ability. So like if I wanted to, I could just put all of them into energy regen so I can just stay perma-shrunk. Or I've done a health regen. I don't know, I love stuff like that. And so like, for me to do a playthrough of Blue Prince, I would have to invite a whole lot of people telling me what to do and where to go. And so that kind of sucks for a first playthrough because, hey, I actually just want to play the game, and it kind of sucks to have a bunch of people trying to play the game for me by telling me what to do, you know, in Twitch or YouTube chat or something like that. And so part of the reason why I'm drawn to these games is twofold. One, I don't really have too many people telling me how I'm supposed to be playing the game. I do. I'm sure some of you are going to have opinions. Well, a huge box. I actually don't have anything to spend really any of my green on at this point, which is good bad. I'll go for a bit of armor. There we go. If you're easy bullets appear. I think that slows things down so we don't have to worry about dodging anything more than the purple bullets. But, so, yeah, I don't have to worry too much about people backseating me. You know, my choice to invest in certain things or do X or Y, you know, I'm gonna have some people that say that, but it's kind of easy to brush off because, like, I'm doing the best I can. As opposed to, like, no, you missed a secret door, go back. Or, like, you missed a heart piece. Or, it's 13 hearts to get the Master Sword. As I'm swinging the Master Sword, like, that doesn't happen as much when I play these games, so it's not as bad. The other one is there's less of a pressure for me to come back, and I know that's gonna sound kind of weird. But with a game like Blue Prince, all I want to do is spend the next who knows how long playing it until I'm done, and until I've finished that game. But the way YouTube works nowadays, you know, Let's Plays and complete series don't really work. At least not on my channel at the moment. And like, I should really put some more time into it. Oof. Yeah, I'm trying to dodge. Not working too hot. Yeah, I really want these two, but they're expensive. Guess I can snag that and that. Okay, so now we have access to some much more expensive green things. I don't want to get the less invulnerability cooldown. It's probably still good. But I don't know how amazing it is. But so this is one of those games where I can kind of pick it up and play it at my leisure without getting too rusty or without feeling like I'm really missing out. It's a game that fits into my lifestyle as opposed to dominates my lifestyle. And I have a backlog of, I think, about 500 games at this point, of games that I really want to spend, you know, really sit down and spend the time to finish, to say, like, this is something that I'm going to make my personality for a week, a month, or who knows how long. Easy example is, like, Guild Wars 1 just got, like, an actual update, which is rare because it's a 20-year-old MMO. But it got a big update, and it has, like, a combo pack, and they're selling it for $8. And I'm like, oh, finally! You know, a good excuse for me to go back and play Guild Wars 1 as, like, a full playthrough for, you know, on camera, because I've never done that. I've kind of covered Guild Wars 2 a couple of times, and still want to put more time into that game. Let's see. We got to 123. Like, we're getting there. This is taking so much time. And what do I want to invest in? Regen and armor are extremely huge. I want to get the max bullet speed, but that's tricky. Don't have enough for more. More health feels bad. I feel like the less red bullets I have to dodge after a certain point, the better. Let's go for that. Okay, let's not do another one. Oh, shoot. Okay, let's do one more. Turns out I could have actually done research this entire time, and maybe that would have been good. Because I bet that's going to unlock at least a couple of things for me to invest into. Even if I don't know if I actually want them. We'll see. But yeah, it's just games that have very little, like, life pressure actually feel very good for me, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of indie games coming out constantly, and that is a bit of a problem. Like, it's not a huge issue. Is a huge issue for a lot of indie developers, maybe, is the way to point it out, just because there's a ton of competition. And it's a bit of an issue for me, because, like, back in the day, I could kind of mainline a game. You did 200 episodes on Slay the Spire, and everybody would want to watch it, because it's freaking Slay the Spire. But now, like, even when Slay the Spire 2 comes out, it's not going to be the only roguelike deck builder out there. There's actually, like, tons of them. And Monster Train 2 will probably be only a couple months old at that point, or maybe a year. Maybe it gets an expansion around that, who knows. And so it's one of those where it's difficult for me to really have the time or the focus to put 200 episodes into a game anymore. And that kind of sucks, because I actually really miss doing that. I thought it was a lot of fun to, like, put time into and master a game, to have that be the thing that I did as, like, a primary focus. Okay, so we want to research. So what else we have in here? So this gets me access to the like bullet time. I still don't actually know if that's really something I want to invest too hard into. I think we just kind of ignore it and move around. I do appreciate that this is a massive talent tree that has a bunch of options, even if it's a lot of repeats. You know, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 armor variants, less enemies, less enemies, less enemies, max bullet spawn rate, interesting, fewer enemies. Like, there's only so many options here, and I almost kind of wish that rather than having this pop up, every once in a while one of these would be would reactivate and have, like, another tier on it, maybe, so you could go have, like, a greater variety, maybe? I don't know. I wish the talent tree went, like, a little bit further and a little bit bolder, but I also recognize that if you made it too easy, you'd have to make the game, or if you gave players too much power, you'd have to make the game harder in comparison, and after a certain point, it becomes maybe not possible to win, and that's tricky and bad. On the flip side, I think this is one of the incremental games where you truly can feel the difference of many upgrades, even if it takes a little while to, like, really sink in. You know, I wasn't really getting hit that much less, even once I got kind of better at dodging in the game, but I'd picked up enough armor and health regen abilities that it just didn't matter anymore. I could tank just that little bit more and that little bit longer. It does mean that I'm baffled about the idea of getting up to 5 minutes, because the best I can do is 1:20, but I can see myself getting there with a heck of a lot of work. Unfortunately, the game's a little hard on my hands. I don't know what happened, but my repetitive strain injury has come back in a extremely bad way. And so this is about the upper limit of what I can do today. But I did really enjoy this. I think it's one of the better incremental games I've played in recent memory. It doesn't really have much for build crafting, but it is one of those where, because the game is so focused on surviving as long as possible, I don't feel that difference. Whereas so many other games are about, you have X amount of time limit, make as much money as you can in that time period. That feels less compelling, because then I'm just kind of rinsing and repeating. This one, I'm trying to get further because that's where the upgrades are. That's where the new currencies are. But that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a decent amount of skill. And I think that makes it feel much more satisfying than the reverse. And so I appreciate that. Anyway, I should mention that it is $6 and available now on Steam. So if you do want to pick it up and play it yourselves, just follow the link in the description below. But I guess with all that said, I guess if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, it helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe, because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.